here we go. Got my microphone on. Got my food right in front of me. Oop, just hit the microphone. Hopefully I don't do that too many times. All right, guys, we are live yet again. Here we are for another lunch live stream. Thank you guys for joining me today. Today for lunch, I've got this. Yeah, well, I was at the cash and carry, like Smart Food Services restaurant supply store, and saw that they were selling these giant bags of granola for a little bit cheaper than usual. So 3 pounds of granola for less than $6. Not a bad deal. I figured I'd have some granola for lunch. Why the heck not? I don't even know if I can, yeah, I don't even know if this entire bag is going to fit into this tiny little bowl. Oh! Look at that. 3 pounds of granola, not bad. Yeah, it's really good. I like it too. Nice and sweet, a little bit salty, just like granola should be. I wish I could do one of those like awesome close-up shots of pouring milk over the, it's not really cereal, is it? Cereal-like substance. I guess it is a cereal. I always like granola. I thought it was kind of strange that granola got this rap for being like health food, when in actuality, like, it's a lot of carbs, a lot of sugar. Let's see. 1 serving, 2/3 of a cup, which is not a super big serving. It's 280 calories, 42 grams of carbohydrate, 14 of which is sugar. So quite a bit of sugar. And 11 grams of fat. Only 5 grams of protein. I guess it's got 5 grams of fiber. That's not too bad. So let's see, we got rolled oats, milled cane sugar. So sugar is the second ingredient. Plus we've got, down the line, we've got honey, got molasses. So we've got 3 forms of sugar in this thing. So this stuff really is like dessert masquerading as health food. And it is really tasty. Like, it's got a great texture. A combination of sliced almonds and honey in there, perfect flavor. Now this is 22 servings, which comes out to over 5,000 calories in this bowl. So I don't think I'm going to finish this entire thing for lunch. But I'll see if I can't make a dent. Oh my gosh. So I do feel like, you know, obviously I got this channel up here where I eat a lot of food. It's basically what the channel is. Me eating food. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos. I think of the hundreds of videos that I have on my channel so far. Hundreds of videos and live streams. I've got maybe 2 where I don't actually eat any food throughout the entire video. So, you know, I'm a competitive eater. Like, that's kind of the thing that I do. But I do think it's cool how there's this, like, almost like a bifurcation between people who eat a lot of food and people who eat spicy foods. Like, those tend to be the two, really... Those tend to be the 2 categories of competitive eating or food challenges, stuff like that. So You know, it got me thinking, like, I haven't done a ton of spicy challenges, and there's definitely a reason for that. Like, my spice tolerance is just super low. I don't deal with spicy food super well, but I thought it'd be cool to take a look at, like, what exactly it is that makes spicy food spicy, and talk a little bit about that, because that's something that, you know, that kind of fascinates me. Like, I think it's pretty interesting. And then once again, at the end of the live stream, I'm planning on donating $100 to some charity. I have not decided which charity yet. So again, for anybody in the comments, anybody who wants to send me an email or something while this thing is going on, you can shoot me an email, SteveThe.Rabbit.Eats at gmail.com. I am really like scratching for ideas of different charities to look into. I haven't gotten a ton of response yet, so, you know, if you speak up, if you've got a charity that you really like, please do speak up and let me know. There's a good chance that that charity will get $100. But until then, I do want to stick to talking about food, because I like food. I like it a lot. You know, I remember seeing back in the day, when I used to watch Man vs. Food, there were the two different kinds of challenges that Adam Richman would do. The big capacity challenges, which are the ones that I really thought were super interesting. And then I'd see the super spicy challenges, which, again, have their kind of nuance. Like, there are a lot of different ways of going about those spicy challenges. You know, some of them just give you a plate of really spicy food and say, finish the food all in one sitting and you win. Others have special rules, like you got a time limit, or, you know, you've got to eat the food and then sit with the food in your mouth, or not with the food in your mouth, with the heat in your mouth, without drinking anything for a couple of minutes afterwards, where you have to experience that afterburn. It's pretty agonizing. I think those are some of the worst. And, you know, big props to the people out there who can do those spicy challenges. Friend of the channel, Katie Prettyman, got to put her up there as like one of the craziest people on YouTube right now, doing all these absolutely insane spicy challenges. I see some of the stuff she does. It absolutely fascinates me. But yeah, I mean, it's super interesting. So I thought it'd be cool to take a look at what makes spicy food. And right now, the way that spicy food is measured is with this thing that people call the Scoville scale. It's named after a guy. I can't remember his name. I'll probably look it up on one of these other tabs, where each pepper, each, you know, source of spiciness is given this scale. Anything from a 0 up to, I believe, 16 million is the highest concentration, or the highest score that you can possibly have on the Scoville scale. And this is one example. Like, you know, there are just so many different scales that you can find for measuring Scoville units. I think, let's see here, up to about a jalapeno is about my tolerance. Like, if I get a spicy jalapeno, I'm pretty much done, you know? I think a poblano and Anaheim chilies are pretty flavorful. I do like pepperoncini. A lot of flavor in those, not a ton of spice. And, of course, bell peppers. Yeah, who doesn't like bell peppers? A good sauteed bell pepper. But really, the thing that's inside of chili peppers that makes it spicy is the stuff called capsaicin. Probably stuff that people have heard of before. It's like this, I don't know what it is really, but yeah, it's just some kind of like substance that's inside of peppers that makes them spicy. The way that it works, I believe, let's check the mechanism of action. Let's see, the burning and pain sensation associated with capsaicin is the result of its chemical reaction with sensory neurons. Capsaicin is a member of the vanilloid family. Interesting. Yeah, the vanilloid family, whatever the heck that is. It binds to receptors. It kind of reminds me of vanilla, but that's strange that capsaicin and vanilla are the same. So let's see. It binds to receptors called the vanilloid receptor subtype. First cloned in 1997. Let's see. Then it is stimulated with the heat, protons, and physical abrasion. Permits cations to. Good grief! This is incredibly in depth. Okay, so it looks like it's just basically that you have these receptors on your tongue that, like that capsaicin can cling onto and activate, which is kind of interesting. I didn't realize that it was something specific for that kind of that specific type of food. Like I always assumed that capsaicin was this kind of how do you say, an agonist, where it would cling on to something else that is meant for some other function, but it just was able to cling on and activate this receptor that was meant for something else entirely. But I guess if the molecule has a receptor in your body, then maybe humans are supposed to have capsaicin. Who knows? Let's see here. But I think the really interesting bit is the Scoville scale, which is the way that these. So like I said before, the spiciness of the peppers are measured in what are called Scoville units. Let's see here. As a measurement of the pungency or spiciness of chili peppers as recorded in Scoville heat units based on the capsaicinoids, among which capsaicin is the predominant component. The scale is named after its creator, American pharmacist Wilbur Scoville, whose 1912 method, known as the Scoville organoleptic test, maybe? I would be interesting to check out what the organoleptic test is, but I'm not going to click into that right now. Let's see here. The Scoville organoleptic test is the most practical method for estimating Scoville units and is subjective assessment derived from the capsaicinoid sensitivity by people experiencing with eating hot chilies. So I think it is kind of interesting that the entire way that peppers get their Scoville unit rating is a completely subjective test. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that it is just kind of some people eat some peppers and they give an estimation. It's a lot less scientific than some people imagine. Whenever I talk to people about it, they think it's this scientific process of measuring the density or the concentration of capsaicin in peppers, but no, it's pretty fly by wire. So I've been neglecting the comments. AJ, thank you for joining the chat. So thank you again, everybody, for joining the chat. Always love to see you guys here. You say, hey, Steve, what is the spiciest thing you've ever eaten? Do you know the Scoville units? Oh, the spiciest stuff I've ever eaten. I do have a bottle of, I think it's called Mad Dog 357. That's some of the spiciest stuff I've ever had. It's 357,000 Scoville units. The stuff is this, I don't know, it's almost like black molasses sauce, but it is a pepper sauce, like a chili sauce. It is excruciatingly painful to eat. I think the most painful thing I've ever eaten, I've done a couple of really spicy challenges. When I did one in Salt Lake City, it was this like a sandwich, like a patty melt kind of sandwich with just this pile of habanero peppers on it. I didn't realize that it was going to be really super spicy. I thought it was just going to be a couple of habanero peppers, which, it is spicy, but something that I could handle. But no, it was like a giant bolus of habanero peppers. That was very uncomfortable. But the absolute spiciest things I've ever had is I've done a couple of challenges with Beyond Saddle Eats, Katie Prittiman, and I think it's going to be one of those too, where I did the Jimmy Peppers challenge when they were doing like a one-off promotional event. That's a restaurant that's open up in Everett, Washington. And the other one is this chain of restaurants in the Seattle area called the Wing Dome, where you can just go in and order this challenge anytime that you want. It's not a promotional thing or anything. Called the 7 Deadly Wings. I might even have it on my... I don't see it back there. Oh, I see it kind of on the side. Yeah, the 7 deadly wings, the Wing Dome challenge. That was very, very spicy, and that's one where you have 7 minutes to eat these incredibly spicy wings. And if you finish it before the 7-minute time limit, then you just have to like sit there and wait until the 7 minutes is up before you can have any milk or anything. Extremely spicy. Let's see what else. Ooh, pardon me. Fabian, thank you for joining the chat. Asks if spicy condiments speed up metabolism. I don't know, maybe. If they do, it's probably a minimal amount, but some people say that it's good for metabolism. Frederic, thank you for joining the chat. Says, hope you get some more sleep now. Yeah, tell me about it. Oh my God, when I turned in those assignments yesterday, I turned in a final report and submitted a research paper yesterday for my electrical engineering class. It was like a weight off my shoulders. So I think I'm finally gonna turn the bend and get a little bit more sleep. I know I'm stumbling over my words a little bit right now, so obviously I'm still a little bit sleep deprived, but hopefully I'm gonna glide slope to getting better. So anyway, back to the Scoville scale. All right, the Scoville organoleptic test. Okay, I'm going to read about it now. So I'm reading this thing right here. It says, in the Scoville organoleptic test, an exact weight of dried peppers is dissolved in alcohol to extract the heat components. Yeah, this is what I was talking about a couple of minutes ago. Then diluted it in a solution of sugar water. Decreasing concentration of the extracted capsaicinoids are given to a panel of 5 trained tasters until a majority, at least 3, can no longer detect the heat in the dilution. The heat level is based on this dilution, rated in multiples of 100 Scoville units. Yeah, so that's basically what it is they take the chili pepper itself, and depending on how diluted that chili pepper needs to be before it's no longer hot, it gives you a higher Scoville unit rating. So the more diluted, like the spicier it is, then obviously the more diluted it would need to be before you stop tasting the heat. So I assume what they do is they probably like take this little bit, like say maybe 100 milliliters of this concentrated, or not this concentrated, but this diluted solution, and see if anybody can taste it. And if they can, then maybe they'll extract like 10 milliliters out of that and pour it into 90 more milliliters of an inert solution, and just keep on continuing with that process until the dilution, is no longer spicy. So yeah, we've got interesting stuff about the Scoville ratings. A consideration: the Scoville ratings are defined per unit of dry mass. Comparison of ratings to different water content may be misleading. Yeah, it's super interesting stuff, I think. Like, yeah, I think this stuff is, like I said, really interesting. How it is mostly just like word of mouth, and it's not really super like scientific, actually. I don't know how repeatable those kinds of experiments are because it is a subjective test. Like maybe if you take the same pepper and test it on 2 different days, then maybe the subjectivity of how the testers are feeling is going to change the rating that they give. I don't know. It's very strange. Very strange. Very interesting in my opinion, though. Let me see here. Now, the one bit that I think is actually super useful for this is the treatment after exposure. So this is, again, the capsaicin page. Now, this is one that's a little bit controversial, as it says that, let's see, after exposure, for external exposure, bathing the surfaces that have contacted capsaicin with oily compounds, blah, 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 is the most effective way of attenuating the associated discomfort. That's been my experience too. A lot of people feel that milk is the way that you get rid of the the way that you get rid of the spiciness. Drinking milk is how you get rid of spiciness, or try to like dull the spiciness of eating something that's super spicy. And if you think about it, like there's nothing really special about milk, because all it does is the oil just, let's see, I think it actually explains this. Let's see, the oil and the capsaicin are both hydrophobic hydrocarbons, and the capsaicin that has not already been absorbed into the tissues will be picked up in the solution, into the solution and easily removed. Yeah, so basically what it is the capsaicin molecules will bind with those fats, those oils and stuff, and then it's easier to just like wash off the capsaicin and the oil when they're bound together. So like I said, milk is this kind of like perfect combination of both having the milk fat, and milk has a lot of water in it. I think it's like 80 or 85% water. So that combination like is pretty good at getting rid of capsaicin that isn't already absorbed into the mucous membrane or into your tongue or whatever, wherever the capsaicin happens to be. So people tend to, like I said, they talk about milk as being the magical cure, but it does have to be a high fat content milk. So if you happen to have like half and half, that would be way more effective than using 2% milk, for example. And skim milk, I think that's just going to be a complete placebo effect. In my experience, though, if you do like hold water in your mouth after drinking or eating something that's super spicy, it does help. I don't know. It feels like it as long as the water is in your mouth, and it does help like reduce the effect of the heat or the effect of the spiciness. Maybe that's just I don't know. Maybe that's just my mind playing tricks. Maybe that's just more placebo effect. But that's been my experience. Oh, and Fabian, you did mention weight, or you mentioned metabolism. I assume you're asking about weight loss and gain. So there's even a section here about that. Let's see. As of 2007, there was no evidence showing that weight loss is directly correlated with ingesting capsaicin. Well-designed clinical studies had not been performed because of the pungency of capsaicin in prescribed doses under research prevents subject compliance. So it's basically that they were feeding subjects in these studies really spicy stuff, and the subjects just didn't want to be in the studies anymore. All right, let's see. A 2014 meta-analysis of further trials found weak, uneven evidence suggesting that consuming capsaicin before a meal might slightly reduce the amount of food that people eat, might drive food choice towards carbohydrates. I mean, I guess, maybe. I have a feeling that, like, if you're able to just sit there with the heat in your mouth, maybe it would reduce your appetite or something like that, basically because it's probably increasing circulating cortisol and adrenaline. But on the other hand, if you're not able to deal with the heat and you do grab for something really fatty, then I could imagine eating something that's super spicy and then eating something that's super fatty that's giving you a lot of excess calories, stuff like that. But it's one of the reasons why I like my full-fat milk. I'm not going to go with any skim milk. 1 cup of this milk has 8 grams of fat. Quite a bit of fat. About half the calories in that is fat. Do I have a fat calories on that? No, I guess not. Anyway, interesting stuff. Now, this is kind of like loosely correlated with pepper spray, which is something else that's, as capsaicin is in pepper spray, obviously, and that's the way that stuff works. One thing about pepper spray, though, I feel like a lot of people don't realize is that, see this picture of this guy, this poor guy getting sprayed with pepper spray. Sorry, dude. I believe that people who carry around non-lethal like ways to subdue people have to be subjective to those methods themselves before they're allowed to use them on other people, so that they understand what they're doing to people that they're pepper spraying, basically. Oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine being pepper sprayed. I think it would be so painful. And another thing about it is, like, it really does spray, so that if you do use mace on somebody, a lot of times you get a lot of spray back onto yourself, so you end up like macing or pepper spraying yourself. It sounds so painful and so bad. but I assume it would be a pretty good deterrent, and it's a lot less lethal than, you know, spraying somebody with lead. So I don't know, maybe there's that. All right. Well, it has come time to donate to someone. So I think that since I haven't haven't gotten any ideas from anybody else, I don't know. I think that maybe I should just make a donation to my old standby, this excellent organization that I really like called Give Directly. Now, the reason that I really like Give Directly, so folks who are not familiar about it, Give Directly is you donate cash to them, and then they just turn around and give the cash directly to people who really need it, who are living in poverty. So Give Directly is the first and largest nonprofit that lets donors like you send money directly to the world's poorest. We believe people living in poverty deserve the dignity to choose for themselves how best to improve their lives. And cash enables that choice. So basically, like, these guys are super transparent about where their money's going. You know, a lot of charities, if you donate $1 to some charities, sometimes only like 50%, and sometimes even less than 50% of what you donate actually goes towards the cause that you expect it to be going towards. And the rest of it is like overhead of I don't know, running the companies, like running the nonprofits themselves, like paying employees, running websites, stuff like that. And these guys are so transparent that they even talk about how they have to every now and then, like, allocate a certain amount of money to pay bribes to guards and law enforcement that are living in third world countries in order to, like, actually get to the people who need the help the most. So let's see. Looks like they're given, oh my goodness. So they've got stories of people in Kenya and the United States who have received money. And here, if you check out, this is givedirectly.org in case anybody wants to check this out for themselves. So if you look at their finances, yeah, you can, like, dig into the really... Oh my goodness. I mean, this is so transparent. It's like, you know, talk about the United States president right now doesn't want anybody to see his tax returns. And these guys are completely open. Like, they let anybody dig into their financial past to see where all their money's going. It's really, really cool. And you can even, oh my gosh, I mean, this stuff is so cool. You can find out exactly how you're helping the people that are getting this money. It's very cool. All right, so I'm going to give these guys, we're just going to go once so I can, yeah, I'm not going to get a Give Directly subscription. Let's see, dedicate this donation. No, we're not going to dedicate this donation. We'll give $100 to these guys through my card. And once again, I'm going to turn off this screen so that people don't see my card info. Fill this stuff in. That is my name, yes. Card details, need to give them my card number. Ooh, pardon me. And click the button to move on to the next page where maybe I'll get a thank you note or a receipt or something like that. There we go. Here we go. Yay, look at that. Thank you, Stephen, for trusting someone in need to spend your donation. Excellent. Well, that always makes me feel good. Okay, there we go. How did I hear about you guys? I heard about you guys because you're awesome. I can't even remember how I heard about Give Directly, but yeah, it's one of my favorite charities. Like I said, it's one that I think does unambiguous good to the world. They have evidence. You know, it's an evidence-based solution where they show the good that they do. They show exactly what they're doing. They get direct responses from people. So it's both this, like, evidence-based thing, and then you also get kind of the emotional story of hearing from the people who are directly affected by who are directly helped, I should say, by Give Directly. So yeah, it's one of those charities, like I said, if you're looking to give a little bit of your hard-earned cash for a good cause, something that I highly encourage you guys to look into. And please, absolutely, my email for you guys to send suggestions of who to donate to for later this week. Got 2 more days, 2 more $100 donations that I want to give. Check out the email down in the description. Please let me know about charities that you think are worthwhile, that you really like. I'll check them out. Maybe I'll give them $100 tomorrow. Maybe I'll give them $100 Friday. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So once again, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you guys for putting up with my ramblings. This was a little bit more difficult to eat than I expected. So anytime I put a spoonful into my mouth, it was kind of quiet for a bit. So something maybe I should consider for tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But I do really like granola. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And until next time, I hope you guys have a good one. Staying safe, staying happy, staying healthy, all those good things. Let everyone know around you that you love them. I don't know. Give somebody a virtual hug. Quarantine's kind of being lifted right now. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to the dentist. I have never been so excited to go to the dentist. I'm so excited. Things are starting to open back up again. So maybe go give somebody like a real hug. Since I guess that's allowed now, at least in some states. All right, guys. I'm going to shut this thing down. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll catch you guys again tomorrow.